We'll find out, though, Stacks, as we get into our matchup.
Well, there's a lot of big brain on the field here between JNAPS and apparently Jack, maybe two of the smarter players in North America now. It's still so weird to talk about apparently Jack being a North American. But here we are alongside Noli and Chronic. And Chronic with the opening salvo. Sent away by JNAPS, and yet again G2 under the gun very early on from their opposition from the orange side.
I mean, you talk about big brain on the field, Stacks. It remains to be seen whether there's any big brains on the desk, but I guess we'll find that out after this series with our predictions. But right now, Gen.G, you have to say they have the momentum. They just came off a reverse sweep. G2, they've lost 2 game 5s in a row, Stacks. That cannot be good for the mental, but I mean, JNAPS, he's playing angry right now. He's looking for demos already.
That's so important. You talked about it at the start of last round, that mental reset. You have to go right back to square one. We've been so close now twice to reaching your goal of getting through into the top 8 and everything that entails, the opportunities afforded to the teams that survive this Swiss mayhem. In Chicago, letting one go, trying to pop one up towards JNAPS, but he had to bail out for a midfield boost that did not exist. Chronic instead got it, but he's still a little slow to the challenge against Atomic. Chicago going underneath Nolly. And Nolly able to get this out of harm's way. Chronic on his way back to help out on the defense as well. And he snuffs out Atomic's bid.
I mean, the thing you have to think about as well right now, obviously, Jack and Nolly, honorary North Americans now, they're in the region. But for G2, this isn't a team they're used to scrimming. This is basically a European team as far as they're concerned. You look at all the other North American teams they play, they're screaming them all the time. They know their tendencies. Jack could be able to finish this one. Yes, he can. Opens it up. And as we said, Stacks, perhaps they're just not used to a different kind of offense. They're coming from a different region. They're the foreigners. They're coming in to take over. And right now, Jack's doing exactly that, opening up the account. Stacks, how many times can we say it? Can G2 get the first goal of the game, please?
It's been increasingly rare. Here goes apparently Jack from the heavens. Oh, he almost sniped the corner. Chronic will finish the job, and it's 2-0 to Gen.G.
Oh, look at the placement from Jack. This is his goal here. That should have gone in. The post denies him. Atomic can't reach the follow-up. Great placement from Chronic. They're burying it top left corner. Jack is feeling himself, Stacks. This is worrying signs. This is what we saw from Daniel last series. If you just get a player that's feeling himself in these type of games, they can just take over. They can take over the whole series, and Jack's doing that right now. Having said that, shots coming out left, right, center. Nolly just carries that on with the bottom of his car. Interesting touch, but Gen.G, they live to fight another day, and they've still got a 2-0 lead.
Frustration has to be setting in too. I mean, G2 have had a lot of opportunities that on any other day it feels like they're just a shoe-in to go in, as that's off the crossbar as well. And just mentally, how do you adjust as the series goes on? I mean, you don't get a timeout here in these best of fives. You don't get any added time between games or even between rounds, especially when your match is the last to finish.
There we go.
All these near misses. JNAPS another look, and that's wanted away by Nolly. How do you just stay confident and positive?
That is an incredible save, Stacks. That is one of the hardest things to do. You're in there, you've got to go on the backboard, kicks it out. That's a beautiful flip reset. Nolly again. He's been enormous in the 1v2, 2v1 sort of defensive plays right now. Gen.G, they're just fending off this offense from G2. That is incredible, and we're seeing the placement coming out both sides. They're looking for the opportunities, but Gen.G, they stuck strong here again. Nolly's going to be able to tip this one away. G2, they're looking to push forward. They're looking to get into this game, but these early leads, these early goals, or these early deficits that G2 are giving up right now, they're just costing them. They're leaving them too much work to do the latter stages of each game.
Up ahead, Chronic pushing that deeper into the G2 corner, but it's JNAPS trying to break out. And nothing there. Nobody else able to follow the play. They realize that Gen.G had it all locked down. Chicago gives this one away to apparently Jack. They can't afford much more of that with now a minute 15 to go. Nolly right up onto Chicago. His shot sailed high. Oh, he's gonna want that one back. That would have erased any doubt here in game one. Instead, the door's been left open. Maybe Chronic about to slam it shut. No, but Nolly is.
Oh, what great play for Gen.G. And that's what you say. Noli just missed the top corner shot, but everything right now is looking top ends. Everything's on target. The double touch was so threatening there from Chronic. It just set up a free backboard, free opportunity. Chicago had to respect the second hit. And Gen.G, they're just picking up clearly where they left off. This will be their 4th game win in a row.
Chronic right there at the backboard. It's been a good run now for Gen.G, even though they were kind of on death's door last round, but Chicago sneaks one through. 47 seconds remain. That's more than enough time to get the magic working here.
Yeah, perhaps get the magic working for this game, if not next game. They need a little bit of momentum, but we've got 47 seconds, and I've conceded more than 2 goals in 47 seconds, Stacks, that's for sure. So anything's possible right now on the side of G2. They just need to find a way to start a little bit stronger because, as I said, these deficits are costing them. But right now, there's 30 seconds. They've still got a chance of maybe a whiff coming out or a bad touch there from Noel. You know, it's still parried away, and Gen.G, they're just looking confident on the Stacks. They're pushing forward, and 50-50s. The midfield game is huge. They're not giving G2 a chance to get it into that end of the field where it can be dangerous. Having said that, that's going to be a goal. Oh, just the one player from G2 to push downfield. It was Atomic. Great pass from Chicago. Back half of the field. Noli gets beaten out. Nothing Chronic can do in net. And we've got a little bit of chance here for the G2 side.
That pass from Atomic is one that we never see. And you want to see it a lot more. Perfectly done. And an awkward kickoff. Ball just kind of hanging around at the back. Chronic's not able to move it out. And G2 is at least going to get a look at this here with 5 seconds left. Atomic downfield. Let's let that one get away. That's not the ball he wanted. No time left on the clock now. So here goes another tip drill. Atomic. Oh, that's really awkward. And the demolition just lets apparently Jack put it away. Gen.G gets the opening game.
G2, they gave themselves a sniff, a little bit of hope in that game, but again, the slow start was just too costly. They just gave Gen.G too much of a head start. Gen.G, they're picking up where they left off. G2, they have to be thinking now, Stacks. They've just got to find a way to just get some momentum earlier on in games because, I mean, going down 3-0 or 2-0, 3-0 was it, I think, it's not something you want.
Right, yeah, G2 dug themselves a bit of a hole. I mean, I don't want to say they dug themselves a hole. Gen.G dug the hole for them and kind of stuffed them down in the grave. And Gen.G hangs on at the end. They get that last goal from apparently Jack, and we bring Leaf back in after we see that brilliant setup from Atomic. There's only 2 other matches going on. Leaf, what you got?
Yeah, so I become useless. You guys can probably just pull these up on your monitors too, but I'll let you know anyways in case you don't want to. Maybe someone's watching on their phone and they always say. So we got Optic Gaming. They're in game 2 right now against Dignitas. They're already up 1-0 in the series, and they're up 1-0 with a minute left in the next one. So Optic looking like they kind of have control of this series. And version 1 take the first one against Shopify Rebellion. They're just starting game 2 right now. So in my opinion, CJ, those are kind of the expected results.
Yeah, it's going the way we sort of thought. Again, anything's possible in this North American region, Stacks. That's what I'm figuring out. I mean, it's been a little bit of upsets galore today. Nevertheless, this could be an upset. I guess you say if Gen.G win, but they did get top 2 last regional, so I'm not too sure about that one.
Yeah, you've got the runner-up from the Fall Open up against one of the Fall Open semifinalists, and only one of them is going through into the top 8 this time around. Welcome to Swiss, and welcome to North America. It has just become a zoo here with so many quality teams and not much that separates them from each other.
I mean, it really is a different play style as well from Gen.G. I know that before all you guys in chat are saying, oh, why are they playing so slow? You know, you think of Appjack back when he was on Dignitas, Stacks. I mean, the offense, it was crazy. They were just holding boost, holding R2, always going forward. But as the shot comes out, Chronic again, it's the slower play style, just as I was alluding to right now. They're just feeling out teams. They're looking for 50s, looking for awkward opportunities. Jack beautifully fakes out the touch. Nothing Atomic can do. Look at the placement from Chronic again. Just top left corner, in behind the defender. Gen.G, they're being calculated, Stacks. They're being measured, and that's it. But almost a kickoff goal down the other end.
Apparently Jack there to corral that ball off to the back wall, and Nolly didn't get a touch, but it's fine. Nobody else dove in. And it's again Gen.G, an opening goal, this time against G2. Atomic, back wall, apparently Jack is there. 2 went for G2. Now JNaps has to play indirect for himself, and he couldn't get that second touch. And it's just trouble compounded now for G2. Down a game, now down a goal. Chronic trying to work his way through, and JNaps trying to send this to the backboard. Double tap, no.
Oh, stop it! Stop it, what a beautiful own goal there. That is what we love, Stacks. This is what we need a bit more of in the North American region. Jack doing what he, I want to say doing what he does best, doing what we rarely see from him. And sometimes that's what you need on the side of G2, a little bit of misfortune on the other end. What a beautiful own goal. What a read, Stacks. Wasn't that just sensational?
You know, that's a good show of respect from apparently Jack. He's playing up in Canada now with Gen.G, and he understands that you got to respect the elder statesmen of the region. So you give JNaps the goal with the own goal, just, you know, to make it fair. What a class act. If there was a sportsmanship award here in the RLCS, apparently Jack would get it. Here's Chronic as Atomic makes the save.
I mean, I think he was just showing JNaps how to hit the double. JNaps couldn't quite reach it, and he said, this is how you do it, my friend. Little bit of a reverse double touch. I mean, a beautiful play if you were on the blue side of the field. Unfortunately, Jack is not, but here we go. You need a little bit of luck for G2, Stacks, because although they haven't played incredibly today, they've still lost 2 Game 5. Some could call that unlucky, and if they can just get something going their way, get a little sniff, they can finally perhaps make the main event here.
Well, Atomic thought about this and said he'll peel off, as apparently Jack will throw one out to the corner. Nolly's going to have a boot steal, but Chicago's got possession. He'll let Atomic take over. E2 seem to be fine here. That's going to fall right to JNaps. The shot goes, whoa, Atomic almost brought it back. And Chronic will take this away. We'll kind of wipe a little sweat off the brown guy. Now we had him all the way as the counterattack snuffed out by Atomic.
Be an opportunity here, pass downfield. Jack does pre-jump, but there's a solo play opportunity if Chicago can get the angle. No, he can't, and JNaps has been demoed. He is on an island all the way back. Little pop infield is not going to be enough here. JNaps should be able to follow this one up. Having said that, Nolly does get the touch. Jack's shot comes out. Atomic does save it, and I mean, it's a little bit chaotic at the moment, Stacks. Both teams, not sure about that half loop either. Both teams looking a little bit worrying on the defensive end, but this could be an open opportunity. JNaps, I thought they might have been caught napping, so to speak. Excuse me, but an almost opportunity there for Gen.G.
Gen.G taking a lot of G2's boost on that half of the field. It's Chronic. Snuffed out by Atomic. Now apparently Jack and JNaps are there, but that goes whistling wide. But it does find Atomic. Demolition, open net, Chicago! Oh, he's denied, but there's Atomic! Oh, it looked like an open net that apparently Jack somehow got to, but Atomic finishes the job.
Yeah, incredible save from Jack. He could not do much more there, flailing in net after making the save. Atomic puts it away, and we're looking at a tie ball game here. G2 looking to take game number 2. We've got a minute on the clock. This is where we see the coachability. Atomic's got a tough read, great touch. That could be awkward. JNaps does follow it up. This is where we see great teams lock it down, Stacks. This is where we see the last minute. How do they kill time? And JNaps doing exactly that right there. Just buying time. A bump comes out. Jack can't get back to this. Atomic gets the goal. We've got a 2-goal lead now for G2.
One of the most physical teams in the tournament, using that to their advantage. Apparently Jack forced back into that ramp in the corner of the goal. And a 3-1 lead now for G2. Their biggest lead in a while. And a big sigh of relief. But now they've got to close it out. 35 seconds remaining. Atomic will have this powered downfield. JNaps chasing down there as well. Apparently Jack will have it. Chronic and Nolly, they're all in the same corner. The spacing looks absolutely abysmal right now, as Nolly right down the middle, and Chicago nudges him out of the play.
I mean, this is the worry for Gen.G, is that when things aren't quite going their way, they still are a new team. They haven't quite, you know, they've got that one play style it feels like that works for them, slowing it down, keeping it close. But if things start going the other way, how do they adapt? That's where you're looking at the coach on the other side. We're looking at Aleutian to try and create things here. 0 seconds, ball's going to hit the ground. Atomic doesn't want a piece of it, doesn't want to pad the stats. We've got a tie ball game here, round 5, Swiss 5, Series 5. Game number 3 coming up.
Now, Aquadome belongs to G2 after they allowed just 3 shots from Gen.G, Mobile One Racing. Chronic had them all. He did have that 1 goal. Apparently, Jack had a goal just on the wrong net. That's credited to JNaps and G2. Doesn't matter how they get it, they'll take the dub. And Leaf, we've got 2 other matches as mentioned, and Optic seems to be in a good spot.
Yeah, well, I want to get the other one out of the way first. Version 1 up 2-0 match point against Shopify Rebellion. They're down 1 goal in game 3 right now, but Optic Gaming, they're potentially okay, never mind, it's canceled now. They were almost on a perfect sweep, and it would have been the first across every region this entire season so far. But Dignitas just scored, so it will now be 2-1 in the series with 3 seconds left. Yeah,
whoever scored, kick them. Come on.
I tried to save that up for a big, this will be a cool thing, and Dignitas are in it. So they're still in it though.
They are. Well, we got 1-1 here as we go to DFH Stadium. G2 and Gen.G fighting for survival, a spot in the top 8, and a chance to get a leg up on the rest of the field in the race for those 5 major spots. With only 1 more regional left, the Invitational, in just a couple weeks' time. Chronic over top of JNaps, but Atomic is there. Now, one thing you can't really say about G2 for the now 12 games in a row that we've watched them, now working on 13, they haven't really been caught out of position very often.
No, they haven't. They just haven't done other things well at the moment here coming out as Chronic does parry that one. But right now, what they haven't done well, Stacks, that we need to see change for the G2 side is they need to start well. They need to get the first goal on the board. It feels like if they score first, it's game over. Abjack solo play, that's what he loves. A little bit of a 50 faked out, great defense. Atomic is going to parry that one to the corner. G2 for the moment, I still haven't conceded the first goal, so that's a positive right now for the blue team. But Gen.G, they're looking to change that.
Well, it's JNaps and Nolly racing up. And apparently Jack has to turn on this, even though he might have wanted that corner boost that JNaps just took from their end. Atomic on the opposite corner, taking a full pad. And Nolly right back once that ball came. Now JNaps deflected away by Nolly. This game going to be won or lost in the air for sure. And a game that will break a 1-all tie with 2 teams trying to get into the top 8. JNaps with Chicago running interference. And Nolly, the initial save. Atomic got nudged out of the play. Chicago double tap, and he pushed it through Nolly.
Stop it, Chicago. 1, 2, 3. He's everywhere. Atomic gets the flip reset, gets bumped off. Chicago bounces down. Nolly tries to save it, redirects back into the top left corner. Chicago, that is what you need for G2. Stepping up, finally Stacks. They get the first goal on the board in a game. What happens now? We haven't experienced this before. Does the world end?
We will see what this means for Gen.G, more importantly, because G2, they can hold the lead. They're one of the better front runners in North America, and I dare say the world. Nolly just watching helplessly as Chronic comes in to bail him out. Atomic, he's got Chicago, and that slow play snuffed out by Chronic. Midway point here, CJ, and we seem to be in rarefied territory now with G2 and Chronic, that interception. But now Gen.G kind of has to reset mentally as well, because they've been fighting for their tournament life going back to last round, having to get a reverse sweep just to stay alive. And now they are in a tied series with a team that on paper you have to imagine is favored over them. And down a goal here in this tie-breaking game.
I mean, I think just G2 are starting to recognize the space that Gen.G are given. We spoke about the fact that they're playing a little bit slower. Great pass downfield. Chicago's sitting there. Chronic does carry it away, but G2, they're getting so much space. Once the ball's cleared like this sort of situation here, they're just getting a little bit more space than perhaps they'd realize. The third man on Gen.G sitting a little bit further back. Whether they start changing that remains to be seen. Great pass back off the roof to Jack, saved out by Atomic. That's what Gen.G need to do. They need to start pushing downfield a little bit more, because G2, they're a smart team, Stacks. They're recognizing when they're getting space and they're using it accordingly. But right now. There's still a goal upgrade. Pass back. Chronic, bang. Gen.G, the synergy, the chemistry. Cross region into region. Appjack to Chronic and back and forth again.
We all wondered, how would Chronic fit in with this team with a couple of Europeans? And apparently, Jack, a couple weeks ago, very complimentary of Chronic and how he has fit like a glove on this roster. Boy, they are in mid-season form for sure, as Chronic ties things up. And now here we go again. 1-1 with 1:20 to go. Atomic, there's a baby pinch off the ceiling, and JNAP's shot is deflected by Chronic. He'll have this on the backboard. JNAP's waiting for the rookie to make a mistake. Not so much.
So much. Tom's going to get time and space here. He's going to be able to perhaps get 2 on it. No, he passes it across to JNAP's back to Atomic. If you can get the beat down on Chronic, this could be huge off the backboard. Nolly's awkward. Jack's trying to take it away, throws it straight to Chicago. Here's an opportunity. Stacks, flip reset, perfect, got it. Ground pinch perhaps, misses it, no! Oh my, Chronic nearly just threw the game there for Gen.G. It was a simple save. He pre-flipped it, nearly went top corner. Gen.G live to fight another day. Scores are still level, but G2, they're pushing forward. They're looking for the goal stacks. We've got 35 on the clock. What's going to happen from here?
Oh, Chronic got around Chicago. Does he dish for Chronic as he puts it in himself?
Chronic gets the go-ahead goal here. Oh, the whip coming out. Chicago can't get it, and that's the doomsy dish coming out from Chronic. He learned that one, not from the North American region, but maybe Appjack and Nolly brought that one across. Gen.G do get the lead here. Game number 3, 30 seconds left. A mistake that G2 can't afford to have, but down the other end already, JNAP's pushing forward, perhaps a pass back to JNAP, saved out. Chicago can't get a touch either. A pass play that just went, leaving them by there. G2, 13 seconds on the clock. Gen.G parried away, 10 seconds. Can they get the win now? Chicago pushes it downfield. Chronic's there, 5 seconds. Atomic has to nearly clear this one downfield. JNAP follows it up. Ball is still in the air. Pass across Chicago. Pre-jump, but he can't quite touch it. Gen.G, they take game number 3. 2-1 up in the series. They move on to match point. Game on.
Only 3 shots again. Second game in a row. But 2 of them went in. Both from Chronic. That's all that matters. As the passing taking center stage from Gen.G. We saw it also with NRG when we had them here on this stream back in round 1. It just seems like more teams in North America are actually willing to give up the ball and find their teammates. And here we are now with Gen.G holding a lead. Oh, so barely. But here we are, match point.
I am here, by the way. I am here. Don't you worry. Just technical difficulties. But I do have updates, though. I do have updates. Yeah. That would be version 1, full sweep, 3-0. Look at that.
Okay.
Shopify there. Yeah, the casters, Super and Lawler, were laying down on their couch after. Like, yeah, easy day, right? Now they had to go the full 5, but they do make it through. That's what we expect. And right now, Optic Gaming and Dignitas are in an overtime with Optic Gaming on match points. The 1 goal here would give Optic the dub.
Wavepunk and Turtle on the edge of their seats over there on the Dignitas stream. Big upgrade from last season's Dignitas stream, I gotta say, as we go into game 4 at Utopia. G2's tournament life on the line now, down 2-1 to Gen.G.
I mean, there's just a lot less hard hats on the stream. That's what they need. Safety wasn't a concern on the Dignitas stream. Big shout out to Gibbs, but here we go. Game number 3. Nolly's pushing forward. Could be an opportunity. Shot down. No, they can't get the save. G2 flailing on the defense. Nolly opens it up here. They're looking closer, Stacks. They're looking closer to taking this one. Moving on to main event. G2, they have to find an answer.
That's an incredible touch to get that on target from Nolly.
Soft.
Nothing Chicago could do about it. Nothing he could do about this. They got by him. Apparently, Jack one-on-one with Atomic. And maybe had it been anybody else, he'd have favored Gen.G to go up 2-0. But Atomic makes the stop. Chicago powers it away. Everybody resets for G2. You know there's not going to be any panic from this G2 squad. They've been in this position before. JNAP's shot blocked by Chronic. And Chicago hard out of the corner for Atomic, and Chronic there again.
Oh, they're struggling right now, though. They're low on boost. Abjack's pushing downfield. Huge touch coming out, but Atommy's going to get the solo play. Goes for the air dribble off the ceiling. Oh, no, he just pre-jumped it. He says, thanks for coming. I'll take that one every day of the week and maybe twice on Sundays. But right now, G2 is still looking to attack. They've still got a little bit of boost. Having said that, Atomic has donuts. He's got 0 stacks and he wants some. He's got the mid boost now coming out. This could be the opportunity. Great touch coming out. They're looking to push downfield. Noli can't quite get the pinch he wants. Maybe a bump. Abjack just cuts rotation beautifully there. Underrated part of the game there in the professional scene, Stacks, is when they're not going back post. They're looking to cut out the infield pass, and against G2, that's what you need to do. Cut out that infield. They're so deadly. Speaking of deadly, this could be an opportunity. Oh, G2, they're everywhere. They're all over the post, all over the crossbar, but they're not finding the ball at the moment.
When I cut rotations, I'm platinum trash. And when these guys cut rotations, it's the smartest thing they've ever done. Unbelievable. What a double standard. Here's apparently Jack and Nolly, the former Europeans, trying to get the offense flowing again for Gen.G, try and open up a 2-goal lead. But now G2 has Chicago and Atomic working in tandem. JNAP's waiting for a pass that won't ever get there, and now Gen.G back on the offensive, and JNAP's had to get in apparently Jack's way.
They're just looking a little bit susceptible to counter-attacks right now, G2. They're pushing hard for a goal. There's still time. They don't have to send every single person, all 100 of them. But right now, they're looking to push forward. Gen.G, they're parrying it away. Both teams looking susceptible on defense, but have the demo coming out. Can look for an opportunity. Chronic's on the backboard. He's crawling around. Jack's going to be able to look to intercept this one. JNAP throws it forward. Great defense now. Gen.G looking to push forward, looking to get an opportunity. Having said that, they're not quite ready. JNAP's perhaps a double touch. Introduce yourself off the backboard. Chicago and Atomic, they both fall out. They both don't get a touch on it. And now the follow-up, Noli. He's been the hero in defense all series. Gen.G, they're holding on by the skin of their teeth, Stacks.
Chicago trying to bully Nolly in the net, trying to get in Jack's way as well, but he avoided him, and now Nolly trying to break out. JNAP not fast enough, but the shot's wide, only by the slimmest of margins, and the lead only remains 1 for Gen.G for now. JNAP swatted by Nolly, and Chicago and Chronic doing a little do-si-do in the corner. JNAP moves off of everything but the net. Chicago hit the bar as well. Oh, the ball goes in the net, boys.
No. G2 have been played again. It was Atomic last series, the opportunity to equalize it against Space Station, and now again we had 2 opportunities. G2, we had JNABs put it wide, and then the follow-up, Chicago couldn't put it in either. G2, they're living by the sword, dying by the sword at the moment. They need to push forward. Infield pass, this could be it. That's the nail in the coffin. Apparently Jack gets the 2-goal lead. Gen.G, they're looking to knock G2 out of the Swiss stage. They're looking to make the main event. What a story this will be.
G2 got to look back at that sequence about 15, 20 seconds ago and wonder how they did not find the equalizing goal in a game they must win to force us to Champions Field. Still life with just over a minute to go. Atomic got that away from Chronic. JNAPs will score as Nolly couldn't catch up, and G2's back in it.
You just felt like this story wasn't over. There's always more. What a touch from Atomic coming out. Pre-flip, hits the tires over the top. He gets it backwards, Stacks, whilst flipping forwards. That's ridiculous from Atomic. That's what they need. They need some special plays. They need some big moments right now. There's a minute on the clock. There's still plenty of time to work with, but this could be a kickoff goal. No, JNAPs does get back in time. G2, poor touch from Noli, pushing forward. This could be the opportunity. Back post, JNAPs doesn't get the touch. And again, we're seeing this sort of situation, Stacks, where Atomic and Chicago, they're both third man. Someone go forward, someone put the shot on. They're just both a little bit hesitant right now, G2. Here it is, though, opportunity, bang! Chicago gets the equalizer. G2, they're just never down. They're never out of the game.
One of the best setup man in the world, Atomic, perfectly placed to set up Chicago. His 4th assist of the series. And we're all knotted up with 38 seconds to go. G2 trying to claw its way out of the grave. But now Chronic maybe about to put him right back down under. Nolly is there as well. Everybody jammed up in the corner except one man. Apparently Jack up the ladder. Nolly's there and Chicago's closing the door on him. Now Atomic away from Chronic. G2 trying to move forward, instead forced back to their own half. And apparently Jack's shot goes well wide. 9 seconds, now down to 6. 5 seconds for apparently
Oh, no.
Jack. He's not involved in that play at all. Now Chronic for Nolly. Apparently Jack waiting. Chronic, drop down
There
for
it
the
is.
win. Chronic puts him in the top 8.
Whoa, GenG from nowhere. They gave G2 a sniff, and then they just closed the door again. Chronic, what a double touch. GenG from nowhere. It was looking so strong. G2 made the comeback, but Chronic, the man, the myth, brought onto this team the mechanical maestro, the young buck, puts GenG through to the main event, G2 Regional 2. It just wasn't meant to be. Round 5, they get reverse swept out of the Swiss stage, 2-0 down to 2-3. They're knocked out, and NA, what is happening, North America?
A 5-minute game of whack-a-mole where Gen.G goes up big. G2 comes back, pops their head back out, and then Chronic, one last time, puts them out of their misery and puts G2 out of the Fall Cup. As it's Gen.G Mobile 1 Racing. Leaf, they are through into the top 8 to close out just a crazy opening day of the Fall Cup.
And I'm not sure if you did mention this too, but the last time G2 as an org finished outside top 8 in an NA event was all the way back in Spring Regional